Welcome to the Ask Junior Daily Judgments podcast. I'm Priya, and joining me today is Raj.
Hello, everyone. We're excited to dive into today's topic, which revolves around a significant legal case that has implications for businesses across India, particularly in the realm of taxation under the Goods and Services Tax, or GST.
Absolutely, Priya. Today we're discussing the recent Supreme Court judgment in Civil Appeal number 2948 of 2023, which involves the Chief Commissioner of Central Goods and Service Tax versus Safari Retreats Private Limited. This case touches on some complex issues regarding input tax credit, or ITC, and the constitutional validity of certain provisions in the CGST Act.
For our listeners who might not be familiar, let's break down some of these terms. The Goods and Services Tax, or GST, is a comprehensive tax on the supply of goods and services in India, which has replaced multiple indirect taxes. Input tax credit allows businesses to reduce the tax they have already paid on inputs from the tax they owe on their outputs. This is crucial for businesses as it helps avoid the cascading effect of taxes.
Right. And in this case, Safari Retreats is involved in constructing shopping malls and letting out units within those malls. They had accumulated a significant amount of ITC, over 34 crores to be precise, by purchasing materials and services necessary for construction. However, when they sought to use this credit against the GST they owed on rental income, they were told they couldn't due to certain restrictions in the CGST Act.
That's where the crux of the issue lies. The specific provisions in question are clauses C and D of subsection 5 of section 17 of the CGST Act. These clauses restrict the availability of ITC for goods and services used in the construction of a movable property, which is a significant concern for businesses like Safari Retreats.
Exactly. Safari Retreats challenged these provisions, arguing that they were unconstitutional and violated their rights under Articles 14 and 19(1)(g) of the Indian Constitution. Article 14 guarantees equality before the law, while Article 19(1)(g) provides the right to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade, or business.
And the High Court of Orissa initially sided with Safari Retreats, stating that the purpose of ITC is to benefit the taxpayer. They argued that if Safari Retreats had to pay GST on rental income, they should also be allowed to claim ITC on the construction costs. However, the Chief Commissioner of GST appealed this decision, leading to the Supreme Court's involvement.
The Supreme Court's judgment was quite detailed, examining the legislative intent behind the GST framework. They emphasized that the GST regime aims to eliminate the cascading effect of taxes, which is where tax is levied on tax, leading to higher costs for consumers.
Right, and the court pointed out that the restrictions in clauses C and D of Section 17 and 5 were designed to prevent a break in the credit chain. They argued that allowing ITC for construction costs could lead to significant revenue loss for the government, as it would allow businesses to offset taxes on rental income against construction expenses.
This brings us to the concept of cascading taxes. In a typical scenario without ITC, a business pays tax on its inputs and then again on its outputs, leading to a situation where the final consumer ends up paying tax on tax. The GST framework was designed to prevent this by allowing businesses to claim credit for taxes paid on inputs.
The Supreme Court ultimately upheld the provisions of the CGST Act, stating that the classification of businesses engaged in construction for sale versus those for rent was justified. They found that the distinction made by the legislature had a rational basis and was not arbitrary.
That's a key takeaway. The court emphasized that while the legislature has wide latitude in tax matters, it must still adhere to principles of equality and rational classification. They also noted that the provisions were not discriminatory, as they applied uniformly to all businesses in similar situations.
And what's interesting is that the court did not completely dismiss the possibility of ITC being available for certain constructions. They mentioned that if a building, like a shopping mall, could be classified as a plant under the functionality test, then ITC could potentially be claimed.
This functionality test is crucial. It means that if the construction of a building is essential for carrying out a business, like a mall that generates rental income, then it might qualify for ITC. However, this determination would need to be made on a case-by-case basis.
Exactly. The Supreme Court remanded the case back to the High Court to decide whether the specific shopping mall in question could be classified as a plant based on its functionality. This means that the High Court will have to look at the facts of the case and determine if the mall serves as an essential tool for the business operations of safari retreats.
It's a fascinating case that highlights the complexities of tax law and the importance of understanding how different provisions interact within the GST framework. For businesses, especially those in construction and real estate, the implications of this judgment could be significant.
Absolutely, Raj. It underscores the need for businesses to stay informed about tax regulations and to seek legal advice when navigating these complex issues. The landscape of GST is continually evolving, and understanding these nuances can make a big difference in financial planning and compliance.
As we wrap up today's discussion, what are some final thoughts you'd like to share with our listeners?
I'd say it's essential for businesses to engage with tax professionals who can help them interpret these laws and ensure they're taking full advantage of available credits while remaining compliant. The landscape of taxation is intricate, and staying ahead of changes can provide a competitive edge.
And I would add that for anyone interested in the legal aspects of business, following cases like this one can provide valuable insights into how laws are applied and interpreted. It's a dynamic field that impacts many facets of commerce.
Thank you for joining us today on the Ask Junior Daily Judgments podcast. We hope you found this discussion informative and engaging. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights into legal judgments and their implications for businesses and individuals alike. Until next time.
Goodbye, everyone.